Welcome to chapter number 4. In this chapter, we are going to talk about the fundamentals of After Effects. If you follow the exercise file in your chapter number 4 folder, you can find the fundamentals of After Effects.aep file. Go ahead and open that file. After Effects have different fundamentals, but today we are going to talk about the 6 main fundamentals of After Effects. So it's composition, layers, animation, effects, 3D and render. So let's discuss one by one. So first we need to discuss composition. Composition is like a document in Photoshop or sequence in Premiere Pro that allow you to work inside to make something in After Effects. If I select one of these composition from this folder, so this composition contains some information that currently showing in the top of this panel. The resolution of the file, the keyframes, and the duration. And if I select any other file like this one, so this file told me how many times this composition used in After Effects. So in that case, this composition used for one time in this After Effects complete project. You can place any type of media that you have successfully imported in Adobe After Effects, and also can place the layers that After Effects generate, like the camera, null, and so on. So the next fundamental is layers. Layers are like the bones in the body. Anything that you use in After Effects for making any design or animation called layer in composition and layer panel. You can duplicate the layer, you can trim the layer, you can extend the layer, or also you can move the order of the layer, and you can also change the blending modes. So our next fundamental is animation. Animation is the main key of After Effects. After Effects can handle the different type of animations. For example, scale, position, and rotation. Anything that have motion called animation. As I told you in my intro, many of motion designers using After Effects to make animations. For example, in this animation, I have different kind of layers, and if I select all the layers and press the letter U from keyboard, so I can reveal all the keyframes that making this animation. So these all keyframes are responsible for this animation that you're currently watching on your screen. Now you're probably thinking, what is keyframe? Keyframe is a little point that hold the information of a specific time and properties. For example, in this layer, let me solo this layer so you can only see this layer. And in this layer, if you can see from this keyframe hold two kind of properties. One is a time, 1 second 4 frame, and the second property is 0% of the scale. And now let me close the switches for the other layers. Okay, now here at the second frame, this keyframe hold 2 seconds and 4 frame of the time. Like you can see here in my current time indicator and my timeline, I'm currently at 2 seconds and 4 frames. So this keyframe have this information and also have the scale information. So it's called keyframes. And now because I have 2 keyframes, so the distance in between these keyframes will be the speed of this effect. So if you can take a ramp preview, here we go. So it's look like this. Okay, let me unsolo this and fit. Alright. Our next fundamental is effects. Adobe After Effects comes with many pre-built-in effects, and you can also install third-party plugins in After Effects. There are many types of effects. For example, if I need to change the color of this life in street logo, so as you can see, I already have an icon called Effects. This Effects icon indicates that you have applied some effects on this specific layer. So how can I check what kind of effect I have applied on this layer? For this, you need to go to the window, and in window you need to find effect controls. Let me click on this. So another panel will pops here. So now if I have select my logo live in street composition, so you can see an effect called fill. Let me quickly delete this from here. And now if I come to the effect and preset and let me type fill. And here is the fill under the generate tab. And if you select this composition and then go to the effect, go to the generate, and here you can find the fill effect. Now there is lots of way to apply an effect on a layer. And if I select this word fill and let me drag it here. Here we go. We have applied the effect. Let me Ctrl Z for a moment. If I click here and then let me drag it on my timeline, it will also apply on the logo. And let me solo this for a moment. And if I click here and drag it here, now I can also have applied the effect. There are lots of different ways to apply the effect, but the main goal is apply effect on your layer. Since I have selected my layer that I need to apply the effect, so let me simply double click it here. So my effect will apply on this live in the street logo. Now here you can see all the properties of effect. There is tons of different kind of values. In every effect you can explore the effect. Different effects have different kind of properties, and in this specific fill effect we have some different properties, but our concern is just to change the color of this. So let me click on this little red box and let me choose the white from here and unsolo this from here. Now you can see we got the back original file that we have before. Our next fundamental is 3D. After Effects support limited 3D work inside After Effects. While working with the 3D layer, you need to use the camera for moving in 3-dimensional space. So if you open the composition folder, here you can find a 3D folder. If you double click it here, so I have already set up this composition. So we have two different compositions that I have converted in 3D. We have camera that have two keyframes, and we have camera controller as well. So now if I move my CTI to the timeline, so here you can see we are moving in real 3D space. So if I take a RAM preview, so you can see we are actually moving in real 3D space because we have converted our two compositions into 3D object, and now our camera is currently moving around the objects. So basically in that scene that you are watching currently, is you think the two layers are moving, but no, these two layers are still on same place. They not move, but the thing is moving is camera. So if I go to the to view horizontal, and now if I have select my camera and if I move my current time indicator, now you can see my camera is moving around the scene, but the compositions that I have in my scene is still there, but only camera start moving in a nice arc. And let me set it to view 1. Our next fundamental is render. Render is the final step of any project. If you have successfully done the animation and you need to export one or multiple files from After Effects, this process called rendering. After Effects have great built-in render engine that allow you to export the different kind of file formats from After Effects. For example, if I have select this composition and then I need to go to the file, export, and then add to render queue. Now my render queue will open here, and this have this one output called 3D composition. So if you can see these things like the settings, render settings, you can explore the render settings from here, and here is the output module where you need to select the different file formats, and you can turn on and off the audio as well, and you can resize and crop the scene, and here you need to select where you need to save your file. If you have any question about these fundamentals, please feel free to ask in Q&A section, like question and answer section on Udemy page. I will try to explain as simple as I can. In the next chapter, we are going to talk about understanding the composition.